My name is Aster Kordona. I am an illustrator and graphic designer for the University of Oklahoma's K20 Center. Some of my responsibilities include design and branding, and then creating illustrations for lessons. And I've been doing this kind of work for about 5 years or so. Starts with a cup of coffee, and then usually I try to warm up. If there's like an illustration or a design I'm working on, I try to plan that out throughout my day. If there's like a specific element of the piece that I'm kind of struggling on, I'll try to find reference and do studies so I can tackle the problem in isolation first, and then use that practice to go and then polish off like the design or the illustration in the final piece. So, first time is good, but second time is usually better. My educational background is the Spano College of Art and Design. I went there for my BFA in sequential art with a minor in illustration. I've always had like a passion for storytelling and narrative through illustration, and that's kind of led me to where I am today, where I can use these skills that I developed in college in my career now. Well, honestly, it's fantasy works. I always really liked the idea of like dragons and different high fantasy illustrations, and I wanted to create similar things like that. And I get to do not only like my own kind of flair with those more high concept elements, right? But I also get to design things with teams and use my skills to kind of creatively problem solve a lot of different design challenges and meet a lot of different expectations. So it's really looking at each like situation or scenario with a fresh lens and trying to approach it in the most creative and most inspirational way possible for me. They're one and the same. So I really enjoy like finding those tricky problems that you just want to rack your head trying to solve, and then figuring out like a creative way to problem solve them. If there's elements like a specific piece or design that you're really struggling with, usually what I do is first I collect reference, I do a few sketches, and I'll oftentimes ask my colleagues or my peers for feedback, because I think it's really important if you're looking at a problem for so long that you might need a fresh pair of eyes on it, so you can have outside perspectives to really help guide you in that right way. Community in design and illustration, art as a whole, is very important, and having really good friends and colleagues is one of the most inspiring things about it. I'm really hopeful for the future. There are a lot of fantastic artists that are getting used to like showing their work online and creating a presence and an audience for themselves, both in the fields of design and in illustration, and branching off into other artistic pursuits like concept art or specific like package design illustration. All of these people are online. There's a massive community. And I think that is only going to grow and be more accessible to people who want to seek out a career in the arts. If you're interested in art, design, or illustration, I would say first, always keep a sketchbook on you. Always, always, always. I follow this for myself. I always have a sketchbook or my iPad in my bag just in case I see something that really inspires me and I want to capture that. Because when you look at the world, you have to look at it as if you're adding to your visual library. And it's not just like enough to see your surroundings as in they are pretty or they're appealing to you, but think about how you could use them in a piece, or think about how this would be a really cool tree in a really interesting setting, or think about how the shape of like a vase is like really nice and simple, and you could use that in other work. Be inspired by your surroundings, whether they be very like complex and gorgeous or something very simple. I have created illustrated book covers for like mock assignments for myself, of course, but also for clients. I have created work for Absurdist Productions here at OKC, a really fantastic tabletop RPG like gaming company. I worked on both Transformation and Seven Seconds to Murder, though it were both really fantastic projects, and they've got another really fantastic project in the works right now. It's a really fantastic experience working with clients and trying to problem solve those things together. I like to start with thumbnails, giving like a mood board and a general idea of where we want to take the illustration, like sketching out ideas just to be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking, this is where we could take it. Usually these thumbnails are in grayscale, and then once the client picks out a set of thumbnails that they enjoy or that really speaks to them, we go into the next phase, which is color. I have like a few color thumbnails just to test out lighting and temperature and mood. And from there, if they like what I have produced, of course, then we go into the rendering phase. And what I do that I think is a very good idea is to always check back with your clients and get feedback, so that throughout the process, you are like checking in with the person you're working with so that the direction is consistent and you work in ideas as you complete the illustration. Because the last thing you want in any type of project is to go back and do it again. So I think it's important to like have a lot of open lines of communication, and then eventually you will reach the final product, and then you have another finished piece for your portfolio. My favorite project is probably this Dragon Ball piece I made. It was really fun for me. I got to incorporate elements of 3D. So I took this 3D model and I like put lighting in the program to make the body kind of like more accurately shape around the scene. And it was just a really fun thing to do because I got to try out a new program and I got to try out a lot of new styles of rendering and try to combine like some new things with some old things to make a new exciting piece for a franchise that I really love. Well, they're very similar. Book cover art, illuminated letters, they, started as like medieval script. Catholic monks, I believe, in like Ireland and England would make these really detailed, like gold-lettered, highly colorful works of art in monasteries. And not only were they just religious scripts, but they were also highly personalized to the people that would create them. If you look at like the Book of Kells, for example, you'll see very small designs, a lot of personality put into the work by the people that created them, like little animals, different symbols. It's just very intricate. And I think that element of illustration and the element of storytelling, personal storytelling specifically, is very important.